Hey everyone, welcome back to Williamson Ridge Outdoors. Today we've got a new tool on the property again, sitting here in the back of the truck, but we don't have all of it yet, so I've got to go get a couple more pieces for it so that we can actually use it. But let me show you real quick what we have. So we went over to Tractor Supply and got us a post hole auger. And this is actually kind of a neat little kit. In the past, you've had just the post hole digger, and then you had to buy a stand separate and all kinds of stuff. This one actually comes with a stand. But stay tuned, we're going to run out and grab us an auger because they didn't actually have it in stock yesterday. And then we're going to take this thing and uncrate it and put it together and take you through all the steps of getting this thing ready to drill some holes. So I ran over to Tractor Supply, picked up a 12-inch auger, which I really need a 9-inch also, and they did not have one, even though I called and they're like, I'm sure we have one, but they wouldn't go out there and check. But at least they had one of them, so it wasn't a complete wasted trip. Being able to have the 12-inch will at least get us started anyways. I was originally going to put it together on the tractor, but it comes with a stand, so I think I'm going to try to put it together and put it on the stand because I have my Befco sickle bar mower actually on the tractor right now, and I actually have a little bit more hay to mow before I take that mower off. Let's talk about a little bit why that I decided to go ahead and get the CountyLine post hole auger as opposed to some of the others. I originally was going to get more of a commercial grade post hole auger, and things just didn't pan out with that. We thought about it, we talked about it, we decided actually we'd end up going with the CountyLine. Not a big heavy duty machine at all, but on their website they say that it's a category 1 or category 2 hookup, plus it's rated for 18 to 100 horsepower tractor. But what they're doing is putting a shear bolt that breaks at 40 horsepower. So if you're going to run something above that and you hit something that takes more than 40 horsepower worth of torque, then it'll break the shear bolt. So I got thinking about it too, and I was like, well, you know what? Let's just go with that model. We'll go with the cheaper one, see how it does. We'll be easy with it. As we're letting it in the ground, we'll make sure that we don't just start going in. We'll let it go just a few inches and then pull it back out to lift out anything that it's, so it doesn't just bury up and you have to pull out a big load of dirt out of there. So that's what we decided to do. We went the cheaper route, but we've got probably a few hundred holes that we're going to have to dig with this thing. So I'm real curious to see how the auger bits and the unit itself is going to hold up. But if we get through that, then the rest of it is just a bonus, because then we can build our sheds and stuff that we need. We have plans to build some lean-tos. We have plans to build run-in sheds, that kind of stuff for the horses, hay storage. So the unit it's going to pay for itself in the use that we're going to get out of it. But anyways, enough talking about it. Let's get in here, get this thing uncrated, start putting it together, and see what it looks like. I can tell you now, just from looking what's in the crate, it looks like it's actually built really heavy, a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be real thin, lightweight type metal and stuff, but it actually seems to be pretty nice. I like the fact that they had it crated up, sitting at the store, covered up with plastic, simply because everything looks brand new. And at another Tractor Supply that I was at, actually buying that auger bit, they were just sitting out in the open, and it's all faded and almost looks used because the sun has faded out the paint so bad. I know that, that doesn't really matter too much as far as the function of it. I don't know what it is. Whenever I go buy something new, I want it to be new and shiny. But you know what? I mean, it may not matter at all to you, but like I say, to me, I just kind of like that new and shiny look to it instead of the old and worn and faded look. Even though it's brand new and never been used, I just don't like it being faded and, sitting there and all that sun fade and stuff on it. And it almost kind of makes you want to expect like a little discount on it or something because of, it's been sitting there forever. So I like the fact that they kept this crated and covered up, and everything looks brand spanking new in here, and it looks great. So we've got our instruction manual. We've actually got our tube that mounts to the post hole digger that you can put your owner's manual in, or maybe some extra tools or something like that, maybe some shear pins, that kind of stuff. We've got our gearbox, which again, it's actually bagged up separate. They had a gearbox setting at the other Tractor Supply that I was sitting at, and it wasn't bagged up, and it was rusted like crazy. And I was like, man, that thing looks like a used gearbox off of something, and they just had it laying out there on the parking lot, not even on a crate or anything, just laying right on the concrete, and it just looked terrible. So I'm glad to see, or whenever I was over at the other Tractor Supply, I was glad to see that they did do this, because like I say, everything looks brand new. We're supposed to do this on the tractor, but like I say, I'm going to try it sitting here on the ground, and if I need to lift it in order to put some pieces together, then I'll end up, you know, maybe taking the bucket on the tractor and lifting this up or something. So we're going to take our hoop and connect it to our pole here with our pin. I think we can just raise this up. Find the hole we want it in. And put our pin in it. So we've got our pins that we need to put in, and it's got a few pieces. You've got a thin nut and a thick nut. You can see the difference in the thickness on these. But the thin nut goes on the inside, and you have to thread that all the way on, or at least probably most of the way. And these are fine threads, and this takes a little while. But then there's a couple pieces that go on here. This is actually a really cool idea. This goes on here, gets tightened up between the brackets down there. But what this actually is your PTO shaft holder. So when you put this thing on there, you take it loose from the tractor, then you'll have somewhere to store your PTO shaft instead of it sitting on the ground. So we're going to put our pin through the lever and then slide it right through the hole. We're going to put a lock washer and a nut on the back side. So the next thing, according to the directions, is to attach the gearbox to the boom, and the guard on the gearbox goes towards the long end of the boom. You don't want to have this backwards, because this is where your PTO shaft is going to attach, and then your auger bit will be then on the part that hangs down from the boom. I think just need a little tap there to get that to go through. We just put our cotter pin back in. We're going to bend it out to make sure it stays in place. So this may be difficult to do, but I'm going to try to install the stand legs on here. Hopefully we can then install our auger bit and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to try to lift this thing up. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and hook up the tractor to the post hole digger, raise it up high enough in order to get our auger on and be able to extend these legs out all the way. we've got 2 bolts with lock washers that we put on there. We're just going to tighten them down a little bit, and then that'll be good to go. And then we just need to put our PTO shaft on. And another thing too, I know I look like I'm around this, but I'm staying out from under my forks. You know, I have crossed under them a time or two, but I'm staying out from under all that. So I know you all out there that are the safety police that are seeing me go underneath these forks and stuff, that's all I'm doing. Whenever I'm standing here, I'm actually in the open. There's nothing above me to fall on me. So I'm trying to be as safe as I can while using my tractor to hold this thing up. So we've got this thing set up. The directions actually say to put it on your 3-point hitch and all that, but I actually really didn't have any trouble getting this thing set up. It would help to have a second person in order to get your stand on so you can lift that thing up. I ended up using the tractor and the forks to just lift it up and be able to extend my stand so that the auger would fit. The stand legs actually have different holes in them. I'm sure that's for different lengths of bit, because some bits are only 36 inches, where I believe this one is 42 digging depth, 48 inches total. So it's pretty easy putting this CountyLine post hole digger together. You know, we've got our drive shaft on. I don't have all the bolts tightened up yet, just because I didn't have all the tools out here already, but I've got everything put through where that needs to go. I just need to snug everything down. Let me show you something cool about this design. It's actually resting on the auger and the legs and not back here. And what's cool about that is, if you want to set some blocks under this, then you can actually raise this up and get it off the ground. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to set some stuff under it, get these pins up, plus my tractor won't lower the pins all the way down to the ground. So I'm going to make sure that I raise it up and get it up to the height where that my tractor can reach it, so that it'll be easy to hook and unhook. That's one of the biggest things with these post hole augers, is that everybody complains about how hard they are to hook and unhook because they don't have stands and people have to strap them to trees and all that kind of stuff. So that should really help eliminate the troubles with hooking and unhooking this post hole digger. So one of the big reasons we decided to go ahead with the CountyLine is, 1, the price, but 2, they were offering it for $4.99, and it came with the stand and stuff, where a lot of units don't. And if you wanted a stand for it, they were like $300 if you were going to purchase a stand. Yeah, a person could probably weld them something up and actually make them a stand for it, or strap it to a tree. I've seen people do that. But this one actually came with it. Plus, it also came with the handle back here, to where that if you need to move it a little bit from the tractor seat, then you can actually reach back and tilt the auger a little bit one way or the other in order to help drill a perfectly straight down hole. And that's another good thing about it, because it keeps everyone away from the auger, and you don't have somebody out beside the tractor trying to, you know, be out there close to the auger trying to get it straightened out. But from the tractor seat, you can reach this handle back here and actually position it where you need it. So I think this thing's going to work out pretty good for us. Hopefully it will hold up to all the holes that we need to dig. I don't think that the soil is real rocky, but there is quite a bit of shale and stuff around here. So we just have to see. The majority of the holes that we're going to be digging aren't going to be these 12-inch holes. They're actually going to be 9-inch holes. So that should be a whole lot less stress on the unit itself. There's the last couple things that we need to do, which is tighten up the bolts that we've left loose, which there's 2 that hold on the auger, and then there's 1 that's holding the PTO shaft on. Those just need to be snugged up. And last, you want to make sure that you put gear oil in the gearbox, because they do not come shipped from the factory with gear oil in them. There's a little tag up here even that says make sure you put gear oil in it. If you run it without that, you're going to cause problems. So we're going to tighten down our bolts. We're going to top that off. If we have time this evening before the sun goes down, we'll end up hooking this up to the tractor and trying it out. But first, I've actually got to run out and mow some hay. So that's kind of what I've been doing today, and why I did not put it on the tractor is because I didn't want to have to take my sickle bar mower off the tractor just yet. So if I can get that few acres out here mowed, then I'm going to come back. If we got enough daylight, we'll hook this thing up and maybe drill a test hole with it and see how it does. So if you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, Watch for all of our upcoming videos. Our fence project, like I said, we're doing 10 acres of fence here pretty soon. Chainsaws, firewood. We do pretty much everything outdoors with tractors, our implements, all that kind of stuff. So stick around for all that, and thanks for watching.
Mm-hmm.